Hey, good morning, guys. Kind of bright out here, but hey, we're getting ready to go in the house here, and we're gonna be talking some good stuff this morning. So come on, let's go. We're gonna go in. We're gonna have a discussion. Can't wait to see you guys in there. Come on. Hey, everybody. Will here, just in time prepping. Hey, I want to talk about this morning. I want to talk about the beautiful day we have outside. There's not gonna be very many of them left. But that's not what we're going to talk about. What we're going to talk about is over the weekend I was in on a group and we were talking about what would happen if, say, the grid went down, we'd go into a SHTF scenario, and after, say, a week or two, they start knocking on doors. We're talking about FEMA or a government agency that would be knocking on doors and asking you if you had food and weapons stored up for whatever situation that we're in. And it was kind of interesting to talk to the folks about what their thoughts were on this. And so somebody asked, what would you do if that was to happen? Well, you know, we got a lot of people involved in that discussion, and it's pretty amazing what everybody was saying. Everybody was different, but it was amazing to hear what everybody was doing. Some of them said that they just wouldn't answer the door at all, you know, and they would just act like they're not home. And while others, they would say that they would ask who was at the door, and when they told who it was, then they would just open it far enough to ask them what the hell they really wanted. So, you know, everybody is going to be different, but the consensus that I'm getting from everyone is that people nowadays are so uncertain about what's going on that they are actually ready and willing to, I guess the best way to put it is they're ready and willing to actually go to war with whoever comes and threatens to harm them, their family, or what they have. Now, that's kind of defeating the purpose, because then we're going backwards instead of forward. And it kind of upsets me a little bit in one way, and in another way it doesn't. But you know, there's one guy on there, I'm not going to mention any names, I'm just going to reference a general consensus, but the one guy had a very good point of saying that the best thing to do would be to become kind of like invisible. I'm one to probably agree with that. He said if you haven't got the book already, you should, and read it about the gray man. And that's, I haven't read the book personally, but I plan on getting a copy of it. But his thought was that the book is about blending in and trying to just be like everyone else. Try to normalize it yourself. Another thing is don't give up the information that they're asking. You know, if they're asking you what you have, you really should probably just tell them you don't have anything, and you were waiting for them to come along and tell you what you had to do in order to get your share of food, water, and whatnot. And that way you would be creating kind of a misdirection, I guess would be the right word to say. And I think that's probably the best thing to do. You know, you don't really want to come out blazing, because then you're going to paint yourself into a corner and they're going to label you, and who wants to be labeled? I don't want to be labeled anyway. So my consensus is probably just to answer the door and tell them that you don't have anything really. You have some stuff on your shelf, but not enough to last the week. And then you want to play along with whatever they have to tell you. you would want to go and you'd want to get in line for food and supplies and whatnot, and just play the game, like become the gray man, kind of blend in. If that wasn't going to work, then you would probably want to tell the person or persons, whoever were at your door, that if they continue to harass you, that you would be more than willing to go to the next step. And if they say, what is the next step, you would have to say that you're willing to protect your family and yourself. Now, that's not really what the safest way, or the safest route, I guess I should say, to take. Because then you're kind of tipping your hand as to what you may have. So the best thing to do would be just to kind of go with the flow. Another thing that came up in the discussion was bug out locations. Everybody seems, and there was a lot of people in this discussion talking about everything that was going on. And everybody pretty much is learning that the bug out locations or the bug in locations, whichever one that you want, are becoming popular. So most of them are learning to have more than one bug out location. So that may be something that you yourself may want to think about. Make a list. We're talking about the super list all the time, but don't have everything on your super list all at one location. So if, say, you plan on bugging in, but you're gonna get up and leave if things get too tough, you want to make sure that your bug out location has supplies at it also, so that when you start traveling, you're not having to carry a big burdensome load, which makes sense to me anyway. And have everything split up. And this one gentleman, he was talking about, excuse me, having his set up where he went from his bug in location to a bug out location where him and his family and friends would meet, and then they would stay there temporarily, and they're talking about a week or two, and then getting up and going to the full-time bug out location. Now, I thought that was a pretty good idea, because then you have time to organize, and you have time to organize the people that you have in your group. And as you all know, I am an advocate for having your own group, because then you have everybody that has the skills to start over again. So this guy had a pretty good idea about going from his bug in location to a temporary bug out location, and then meeting up with everybody within a certain amount of time, and then leaving from there to the permanent bug out location. Which comes to the next point of what your permanent bug out location should be: a space or an area where there's not much traffic, where you won't be bothered too much, and that you have the most goods, I guess is what it's not the word I'm really looking for, but you would have the most, the word's right there, the most amassed quantities of everything that you need. So it was really popular to everybody not to give up too much information if somebody were to come knocking on your door. And that's what I wanted to just really get across to you guys today is, somebody comes knocking at your door, for one thing, you want to make sure that you're asking for identification to make sure that they really are who they say they are. And then number two is not giving up the information that they're asking for. And number three is to kind of blend in. So that's what today is all about, is making sure that you have everything that you need, but in the same thing have the mindset of not giving up your locations, your goods, or giving up the information that they're really asking for, because you just never know, for one, if they're legal about who they are. Number two is, if they are who they are they really just out to get what you have so that they can give it to somebody else? So these are all things I want you guys to think about. Also, I want you guys to think about sharing the videos, because the people I've been talking to, not just on this channel, but around the prepping community, is that if you don't share it with others, then we're not going to have a bigger number of people to be able to start all over again. And the government today is not meant to help too many people. Their main thing is to care about each other, which are the top 1%. So that's what I'm going to talk about, is just blending in, getting all your stuff together. It's put most of your stuff at your permanent bug out location, and don't really count on bugging in full time, because it's going to come down that you're going to have to leave. I mean, the consensus that we have amongst the prepping community is you can bug in for a while, but eventually you're going to have to bug out. When you bug out, have a place to go. Don't just take off randomly. So that's what I have. Okay, I want you guys to share the video. Leave your comments down below. And if you have any thing you'd like to talk about or add to, make sure you leave those in the comments. Don't forget, we're having a big contest. As soon as we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to have a drawing. And somebody's going to win a survival bucket. And it's huge. It's going to be at least $100, probably a little more, because nobody can just get $100. So that's the big thing. When we get to 250 subscribers, then we'll have another drawing for a survival bucket of $250. And it's all going to be a real big thing. And we're coming down with, we're going to have a lot more things to talk about, because everybody in the prepping community, not just on this channel, but the other channels and outside the YouTube realm, is everybody is starting to prep, and they're starting to prep hard. So that's something that you, as my subscribers, need to think about. You need to start sharing the videos and making sure that if you haven't subscribed already, to hit that subscription button now. Also hit that little button of the bell so that you know when there's going to be another video available. As you guys know, I don't do a video every day. I try to do them every other day or every second day, to try to bring you the latest information that's going on in our prepping community. So for now, that's all I have. I want you guys to know, God bless you, God bless me, and God bless US Bay. Keep prepping.